will be addressed to Caleb. Mr. Maupin, considering the history of failed socialist states in Eastern Europe and the Soviet Union, along with considerable state-sanctioned violence in the Soviet Union under Stalin and in China under Mao, how can one claim that socialism can actually work and promote the good of the general public?
Well, I just want to start out by saying that we are constantly hit over the head with all the bad things that have happened in socialist countries. If anything ever bad happened in a socialist country, we hear about it, and we hear it over and over and over again. Take the Ukrainian famine. You know, we hear about the Ukrainian famine. They've even gone as far to call it the Ukrainian Holocaust, this famine that happened in the Soviet Union, which was horrible. It was 2 years long. But every day before the revolution in Russia and in the Soviet Union was a famine. Every day was a famine. The revolution in Russia, the Soviet regime was actually able to cure starvation for the first time in the history of the Soviet Union. Well, of course, we never hear that. We just hear about this famine that went on, and it was bad, and here are these pictures of starving people, bad famine, bad famine. Every country, every capitalist country is allowed to make mistakes, but socialist countries are not. Socialist countries are not allowed to make mistakes because the people who own the media, the big businesses, etc., don't want us to know about the good things that have happened under socialism. And if you think nothing good has happened under socialism, then I really encourage you to get on something. You know, if you don't want to read The Workers' World, I encourage you to read The Workers' World. It's a great newspaper. But if you don't believe The Workers' World, check out something called the CIA World Fact Book. Okay? It's right on the web. CIA's own sources of information. The CIA World Fact Book points out that Cuba, a country from the underdeveloped world, an island nation 90 miles south of Florida, has a lower infant mortality rate than the United States of America, the richest country in the world. Now, how is it that a country that is from an undeveloped has a low... That means less babies are dying at birth in Cuba than in this country. According to that same CIA World Fact Book, Cuba has a higher literacy rate than this country, by 0.1%. That means more people in Cuba are learning to read than in this country. Cuba is doing a better job of teaching its citizens to read than this country. You know, the life expectancy in Cuba is just a little bit shorter than in the history of this country, than in this country. Just a bit shorter for the richest country in the world to be just ahead of Cuba in terms of life expectancy. AIDS infection. In Cuba, the rate of AIDS infection is 1/6 of what it is in this country. And you know, I have friends here who've been to Cuba and they've seen the effects of the revolution in Cuba. And you know, in Cuba, they have a total idea to prevent people from disease. I mean, they make a big effort to cure people and such. And, you know, let's talk about the Soviet Union. You brought up the Soviet Union collapsing. Let's talk about how the Soviet Union is now. You know, let's not talk about how it was under Stalin or whatever. Let's talk about how it is now. Right now in the Soviet Union, the life expectancy has declined. I mean, it's not the Soviet Union anymore. It's Russia and Ukraine and Moldova. Life expectancy has declined. The rate of drug addiction has increased by leaps and bounds. People are dying at unprecedented rates. It's one of the only countries in Europe that is actually not increasing in population, it's depopulating. More people are dying faster than they're being born. The healthcare in the former Soviet Union is in a wreck, and it's in a wreck every place. The economy is in a wreck, unemployment is skyrocketing, and the only country in the former Soviet bloc that's not the case is Belarus. The only country in the former Soviet bloc. And what is it special about Belarus? That Belarus has kept public ownership of the means of production. Lukashenko is the leader of Belarus, and he is a proud socialist, a proud communist, and he's leading Belarus, and they're the only country that hasn't felt the full effect of the economic system you're defending. And I just want to end on the point that, or maybe I can keep going on. You're looking. I just want to talk about, you know, is it worth it? Is it worth it for people to be totally unemployed? Is it worth it for the 30,000 children in Africa to die of starvation because that 1 in a million people might be able to start their business and get to be a million? Is it worth it for that one person? Is it worth it? I mean, I don't think it's worth it. I think it's not worth it for people to not be able to get the education it's needed. It's not worth it for the 47 million people in this country that can't get health care to not get health care. It's not worth it just for this pie-in-the-sky dream that someday you might be the next Bill Gates, because you know what? I doubt anyone in this room is going to be the next Bill Gates. Thank you.